Hi guys, welcome back. I've got my water this time, and I'm 2 in, probably halfway on the third one, and it is 9:30 at night, so we're doing good. Yesterday I was downing like the second one at like 11:30 at night. He just had a bite of my fish that I had for supper. And he's like, why is my lap not where I can lay on it? Okay, I've talked to you about what my kind of overall plan is. I've talked to you about how I prepared for Body Slims with the walking and what Body Slims did with my feet and how I'm hopefully going to fix that situation. Still looking for ideas on the shoes. I say that. By the time this airs, it'll be a week later, so maybe I'll have more ideas. Anywho, I did prepare in a third way in the time before Body Slims. So I started kind of getting a little down and stuff, probably somewhere in August. I'm sorry about the dinging. Okay, sorry. Tomorrow's the Raid Parade. And anybody that might be watching this is welcome to come visit us on the Raid Parade. It's a collab I do. I'll stick the playlist link down below. We run it every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it's basically Travel Channel. So we go on adventures. I just organize it. I don't actually have videos in it. Turns out I'm a bit of a homebody. That's fine. I still like to hang out with all the nomads. Anyway, so the third place I started preparing was mindset, because I was starting to have more issues on my walks the longer they got. Like, I was feeling so tired. If I walked in the morning, which seemed to be when most people fit it into their day well, and there's some advantages to getting outside first thing in the morning, but it was leaving me tired and not able to really feel like I had the energy to do anything the rest of the day. So that wasn't I want to be able to regain traction on my house as well as work on losing weight. Just a side note, if you want kind of combination of both, Millennial Meg, another Megan out there, also did Body Slims this round, has been putting out some awesome decluttering videos that are great for body doubling. What I started looking for was some of the mental side. And one of the channels I was watching at the time I think she was doing a 75 hard or maybe 75 soft. I don't know. It seemed to be like a hybrid thing. She had other things that she had added in. I'm not sure if that's normal on either one of those. But she had recommended affirmation app, I guess would be the better term for it. The one that she recommended is I am, but I'm not sure it's the same I am that I wound up on. We'll try to link the one I use down below, and I'll put a logo up here somewhere. The one that I am using is free. I do believe it has ads, although I'm not sure I've ever seen an ad in it. I do have like an ad block thing on my internet, so that might be it. The way that app works is that you choose some categories, but I'm not sure they actually constrain the app to just those categories unless you pay for the premium version. So I get sort of a mix of things. Some weight loss, some sort of like prosperity or abundance type things, some confidence related. It's just kind of a good mix. And they do have quite a few to choose from in terms of categories. I think you can go back in later and change those up. You can definitely go back in later and change the backgrounds. I think mine is currently set to like a night sky sort of scene, but they've got some where it's like fall leaves or, a spring pond, or they've got a wide variety. They have some where it's like the seashore. So you kind of, whatever your vibe is, you can go for it. And you can change it. You can also set how many times a day you want to be notified with a new affirmation. I just kind of guesstimated, and I think I started them at like 10 in the morning and went till 11 at night. I have a thing about repeating numbers. It's just a thing. And then you can set how many times. So if I set that I only wanted 3, it would only do the morning time, the evening time, and once in between. I think the first time I set it up, I had set it for like 11 or 13 or something. It was a lot. And then when Body Slims started, I was thinking that would be kind of taken over by the Jer in the Air segment, and it really didn't. So when my mental space started going downhill with the program, I think it was probably about week 4. I'm like, you know what? Program, not program, doesn't matter. I'm downloading the app again and setting it back up. I do think I went with like 7 or 9 times a day. So I still have multiple touches with it where I'm getting a positive message to help reprogram that negative self-talk throughout the day. Now, if you don't immediately see it, that's fine. Most of the time, like, I'm not even sure it actually makes a sound. I did that for a while and it drove my kids nuts. Me too. But it's like, I don't have many notifications at all. And it was like a weird chime sound, which is fine. But it really drove my kids nuts. So I just turned the sound off. It still goes into my tray up above. Whenever I pick up my phone and look at my notifications, then I can and most of them are actually short enough. Like, you don't even have to get into the app. You can just read it out loud, read it in your mind to yourself. I don't know. I read them out loud to myself. I know there's some scientific studies related to you trust your own voice more than any other voice in the world, which is a little weird because I think a lot of us probably have some trust issues from broken promises to ourselves. I think that's probably a thing. I have over the years also done self-hypnosis tracks that I find on YouTube. There are several very large channels that do them. If you're wanting to do that, the one that I personally like is Michael Seeley. And I will put a link to his channel probably in a pinned comment as well as on the description. I like his voice. He doesn't make me anxious. He has a wide variety of lengths of videos, so some of them, for whatever reason, seem to only have ones that are 8 hours. I don't need something Number one, they kind of freak my kids out a little bit. They can hear them from my bedroom if they go to the bathroom. So middle of the night, and it will have been mostly silent, and then he'll start talking again, and it just freaks them out. Over the years, I have worked on many things with the self-hypnosis tracks. He has 3, maybe 4. He has 3 that are in a playlist specifically for weight loss. I think a couple of them are 2 hours, and one of them's maybe 49 minutes or so. And then instead of rotating, he had said something in that next seminar about the repeating people have the confidence whispers. And I'm like, well, one of the things I would really like is more confidence. As much as I want to lose weight for health reasons and whatever, I feel ready to lose the weight. So that's where I went. But there's, I would like to be confident. I would like to be able to stand up for myself when things aren't going well. I don't know, a lot of the trauma response kind of things over the years, whether that stems from the weight or from other, trauma issues in my past, I don't know. Probably a combination of both, no doubt. So I started incorporating some of those. I've got quite a few of them listed in the reuse playlist. I think I mentioned that a couple weeks ago, that I've got the tracks that I use for gratitude during my walks or that kind of thing, as well as some of these self-hypnosis tracks, just so I don't have to go track them down. And I'll post that link down below again as well. And you can kind of get a feel. If he makes you nervous, grab another one. Just do a search and find someone whose voice sort of is just that right frequency for you. 2 big ones I can think of. I think the other one's Jason Stevenson. Something just kind of nails on a chalkboard with me when I tried to listen to his. So I just stuck with Michael. I know there's a few women that put them out. There's also chakra bowls and frequency healing type stuff. I'm not really partial to one over the other. And what I typically do, I know some people wake up with the ones from Bodyslims. I don't do that. If I'm going to do a meditation self-hypnosis thing, I'm going to sleep. So what I do is I do a search for music, and I'll put together 5 or 6, 7 songs on there to kind of get me almost asleep or asleep. And then I will at the end stick on and I do this in a queue. If you don't have YouTube Premium, I think you would have to put together your own playlist. And it would be a similar sort of thing. So anyway, then I just put the self-hypnosis track at the end. That way it doesn't wake me up. And most of them will kind of give you, well, some of them are meant for mornings and they will give you a wake up cue at the end. So if you're going to sleep, just don't use those. And I don't think I have any of those in the reuse list. And then the other thing was the success stories. I didn't realize I had been doing this, but when I got to the point in that first few weeks where he was like, go read the success stories again. Now, mind you, all of the success stories say, follow the program 100%. And I wasn't feeling like I could do that because I was having issues with my feet and walking an hour a day. And at this point, my mental health was in the toilet, and it's like, I need to change something. So when I thought about it, well, if you're not going to read those if you're not going to look at those success stories, but you want success stories of people losing weight, where do you look at YouTube? I'm sure you can find them on Instagram or whatever your platform of choice is. But I just started Googling. I started searching for, weight loss success stories, or losing 100 pounds, or losing 180 pounds. And there's a lot of people putting out content that maybe they're not where they want to be yet, but they're still further along than I am. And one of the things I realized was really frustrating me, it's not like, oh, they have 2 kids and they're in this job or whatever, and all they did was follow the program 100%, which I didn't feel I could do. So with the channels that are posting, sometimes you'll get videos. I think it's Today or maybe PBS or something from somewhere. Whatever it is, they put out like 2 or 3 minute clips from like their news program or whatever with success stories of people losing large amounts of weight by doing simple things. Like it might be like there was this one, he was a guy, he worked for the news station, I think, as like a sports reporter or something. And something happened at a doctor's appointment and he's like, I just have to do something. So he started walking. And the first time when he walked, he could only walk to the end of his drive and then like part of the block. And then he came back. And then they also said he broke up with his 3 girlfriends. My jaw hit the floor the first time I heard that. And I'm like, what? Yeah, it was Little Debbie, Sarah Lee, and Marie Callender. But anyway, so like he talked a little bit about where he started, but then they show him going through his daily walking routine. And he walks down to his local school track and he walks there. When he first started walking, he couldn't fit through the gate to the track. There was another one they put up. It was a father and son, and they're like, well, we need to lose weight. The one of them was walking around town a little bit, I think, and he decided it wasn't happening quick enough. He's like, hey, I think I'm going to walk to San Diego. And I think they were in New York or something. Are you coming with? It's like, and so the guy's father is running support for him with a van. And they were walking across the country. Now, that was probably 7 or 10 years ago. I don't know where they're at now. But then there's also other channels that are posting their journey. Miss Pat is one I found recently. And I think her channel name is Getting Back to Pat. She's down, I think the last video I saw with a weight in it was 145 pounds. She still has further to go. Could use our prayers. She's in the hospital. Some heart problems. But when she posted that, it was like, can you imagine what would have happened if she hadn't started this journey, though? And so, I mean, she's dealing with that stuff, but she's already down 145 pounds. And so she's a lot stronger than she was a couple years ago when she started. Her daughter is also on a weight loss journey. I think her channel's Lisa J. I haven't watched her very much. Just saw a community post from her mom. I know I've got friends that have done 75 hard. There's lots of people that have posted 75 hard videos. There's lots of people that have just posted weight loss videos. And a search will pull up all sorts of things. And I mean, there's a good backlog of videos from the last 10 to 15 years where people are posting their success stories. Maybe they're posting tips and how-tos and cheering people on. Maybe they're talking about a particular program they're doing. That's how I first heard about bodyslims, was half of Carla. And she had lost 180 pounds on it. I'm not recommending bodyslims by any means at this point. But it was the idea of, walking an hour a day and changing your food habits some can actually make a dent in the weight. Whereas when I started walking, I'm not even sure I was really thinking I'd be able to lose weight with that. I was just hoping that I could get stronger and feel better and get in a little bit better physical shape. All right, so you've got the affirmations. That's keeping it to the front of your mind. It's a reminder to say something positive to yourself, to kind of reprogram the self-talk, maybe snap you out of that cycle a little bit. You've got the self-hypnosis tracks, which is sort of getting your subconscious mind on board with moving towards a new way of thinking and kind of rewiring that piece. Then you've got success stories, and that, in my opinion, can do a couple different things. If you look at the success stories in terms of your searches for like somebody losing the approximate amount of weight you think you might need to lose, it can kind of give you that, hey, they've already done it. It's doable. It's something I can do. If you go for a general weight loss success stories, you might wind up with some that are more like bodybuilding type things. All of them generally, unless it's something where it's like from a show and they just sort of show different people each segment, pretty much anybody that's posting on their channel, you're going to be able to also get some other information from them. So they might talk about their success story, how they got started, what triggered them to start losing weight, how they went about losing weight. So maybe that's talking about their walking journey. Maybe that's talking about how they started weighted walking or running or jogging. Maybe they did a couch to 5K. Maybe they really got into yoga. I guess I haven't really seen any yoga. People do yoga often for stretching. I haven't seen anyone attribute like their entire weight loss journey to that. Maybe they talk about weightlifting or how they saw a thing about one of the biggest indicators of how they're going to, or how long you're going to live, is how much you can lift in your hands. I was listening to that the other day. Apparently, you should be able to carry in your hands 75% of your body weight. I know I can't do that right now. I couldn't even do that for like my healthy body weight right now. But it's kind of a cool goal to work towards, to be able to think at the end of this journey, maybe when I get down to 174 pounds, I don't even know what that would be for 75%. 75% of 200, I guess, would be 150. So I don't know, like 130? I don't know, kind of my max is about 40. Maybe 50. Either one I have to pick up from standing. I wouldn't be able to stand up with it. Anyway, but it's just kind of through listening to other people's stories, you can start identifying some sort of side quest goals. And maybe you can find something that would work better for you in terms of exercise. I know one thing that I found watching Thighs the Limit. She's awesome. But like, she just recently told me that Pilates is a really good one for people to build up the small supporting muscles, that for somebody like me with EDS, when I'm needing those to be toned and strengthened, y'all will probably see a Pilates challenge of some sort next year. It will probably be next year by the time I get down there. We'll see. I haven't quite figured out how long I'm going to do these challenges either. If it's like a 7-day thing or a 30-day thing, or how that's going to work. If you do challenges on your channel or just in your regular life, pointers would be appreciated. Put them in the comments. So those are like kind of the main mindset things I have changed and gone about and done. I don't really do meditation or journaling. I've thought about it. Quite frankly, journals always tend to downward spiral pretty quickly. A couple other things I wanted to touch on, just kind of just to cover the last couple things that were sort of elements of the Body Slims program I want to sort of revamp, kind of fit with this mindset piece. They do have mantras, just sort of, it's a static image with a saying or whatever. They tell you to repeat 100 times a day, and they change that every week. I don't know that there really anything in particular about the ones that they chose. I know I have seen various videos on writing mantras, and I think that would kind of be cool. I know in yoga type circles, I don't know if you would call them prayer beads or whatever, but like they often have like a rosary type bead thing that has 108 beads. I've always heard things in either 108 or 40. And they can really help reprogram your mind over time. And I have not successfully done 40 days. I think the longest I've gone was 35. But it's very much I can do hard things, stick-to-itiveness type thing, as well as depending on what flavor of mantras you're using. If it's faith-based, maybe you're feeling more in tune with your faith and you can pull that into your weight loss journey more. Maybe it's more confidence building and telling yourself like an affirmation that really struck home with you. So I'm probably going to wind up doing a mantra challenge of some sort. Now, I do have some of those beads. Another thing I had thought about with the mantras, I have this thing for fountain pens, but I don't write a lot. And it probably sounds weird, but what I was thinking I could maybe do is combine like some handwriting practice with mantras and like write it down 100 times or 108 times. Like instead of morning pages, you're writing the same thing. It's like every time you write it down, it's sort of fixing it in another part of your brain. I know like the part of your brain that does the writing is not necessarily the same as language, but you're writing language, so it kind of ties into different parts. And I don't know, maybe I will find a program or... Okay, I gotta tie this up. Whether it's specifically weight loss related, your faith or belief system or something there, or confidence building, I think I will probably be doing a challenge there at some point next year. I know that if I do the writing one, it will be a longer time frame. You can actually get through a short mantra in a fairly short time frame when you're speaking it. You cannot write it as quickly as you can speak it. So anyway, you'll probably see a challenge with that at some point. And then the other thing that they never really explained what they're for, they just refer to them as anchors, which seems like an odd way to... I know there's like a psychology thing with anchoring. I don't really understand how it fits with these songs. I know for me, certain songs will come on and it reminds me of a certain person, a certain time or memory that I just associate with that song. I don't really know how that ties into weight loss. Some of the songs that they have chosen, sort of like cheering you on, I guess. Some of them aren't, and it was just like a decently upbeat song. I do know that some people use songs on their walk to try and speed themselves up. I don't personally do that. If I'm listening to something on my walk, it's typically YouTube videos. I tried audiobooks. That just seems very slow and I can't listen to it well enough. Like, I don't feel like I heard it after I get done with the walk. Like, I may have been listening to it, but I don't retain the information as much. But it would kind of be cool to have and build some songs that like, okay, I want like some, I don't know, like for a while, I think it was Raise Your Glass by Pink was sort of an anthem song for me. Like when I'm like, I'm going to get through this and it's going to be okay. And that was the song I'd listen to. It was just, and it would always bring me back to, I can make it through this and be okay. If you use songs in a certain way that's specifically helping with your weight loss, or that you use them in a way that like it makes sense that it would maybe tie in, or know really how the whole anchoring thing has anything to do with these songs, let me know, because I don't really get it. I don't know. I mean, I like certain songs. Ultimately, what would kind of be cool, I would like a playlist. Well, I'd like a couple of playlists. I would like a playlist for when I wanted to just dance for my form of exercise or active recovery. And for me, a lot of that might be, well, I could probably do two, honestly. I could probably do one with like belly dance type songs, and then I could probably do another one with like line dance type songs or songs that I would just want to dance to, because I do want to get back to dancing. That's kind of one of my longer range goals, is being able to make it through dance class. But it would be kind of cool, like, hey, I'm in a bad mood, I'm going to toss on this playlist and get back to a better mind frame. But like for me personally, if I'm building a list or listening and I'm trying to like pull myself out of a down mood, it will start where I'm at, and then the songs will progressively get more towards where I want to be, if that makes sense. And I don't know. To me, it kind of helps me work through those emotions, I guess you could say. I do use music as a way to reduce anxiety, which I suppose would help reduce cortisol. I don't know. I'll probably do some research on that, but happy songs are kind of a good way for me to wind up happy, I guess. This was supposed to be a short video. Hopefully when I cut out some of the trips to turn off alarms, it will be. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. I will talk to you next week. Let me know what you are working on in the comment section down below. You're doing great. You're here. Cheer everybody on. Have a little community. Ask questions. And I will see you next week.